doubt that all of you and India have a scintillating and soaring future. I do particularly want to start by extending my congratulations and warm wishes to the graduating batches. You have had to face daunting odds from the very outset, with many of you embarking on this chapter of your life either during or immediately after the devastation of the COVID-19 pandemic, which posed numerous challenges to students across the country. Against the backdrop of a vicious pestilence that you were expected to carry on as usual, as though everything was completely normal. You surmounted formidable tribulations with great fortitude. You not only stood firm, you succeeded, and it is your success we are recognizing today. As you sit here today, waiting eagerly to step into the real world, you really can look at yourselves already as victors, individuals who come what may never give up in the face of these odds. Your resolve is what will enable you to dominate whatever field you set foot in. And I can say without doubt that it's India's fortune to call you our future leaders and change makers. While there will surely be many a battle left before your wars are won, many more miles to go before you sleep, as Nehruji reminded us. And while this is only the beginning of an exciting journey, take a moment to let it sink in. And let me invite you to give yourselves a round of applause because you have earned it. Convocation Day is one of the most important days of your life. It's a day when society publicly acknowledges your hard work, intense study and dedication by conferring on you this degree. The degree certificate is therefore both a reflection of your own efforts and achievements, and at the same time, a token of your place in and your responsibility to the society to which you belong. As young professionals, you will have a lot to do in many ways in which you can contribute to the nation. Your service to society will in turn be a reflection of the institution where you have studied. You are fortunate to have studied in and today graduated from the Ssit Academy of Higher Education. And this is a moment also to applaud the teachers and administrators who have accompanied and guided you on your journey. Let us applaud them. Now, if you look at the etymology of the word convocation, one can find its origins in the Latin term convocation, which literally means to call together. And together should be vehemently emphasized, it is now. When there's not been a stint in the United Nations, as I was privileged to have in multiple capacities over nearly 3 decades, to realize that in a fractured, impatient, and yet hopeful international community, education is the most significant instrument of maintaining peace and harmony, upholding human rights and fundamental freedoms, and resolving disputes through democratic dialogue and effective leadership. To my mind, your education effectively trains you to meet these challenges. The 21st century has presented us with unprecedented nexus of discriminatory politics, resource versus and crises, a politics of hatred and division in some countries that exploits that we underestimate the rapidly deteriorating environmental situation are all the strongest reminders of why education should be and should remain our first priority. Malala Yousafzai and Greta Thunberg seized the imagination of the world even before going to college, rousing from its slumber a world that is often indifferent to these problems. In India too, we have thousands of young graduates like yourselves. Indeed, more than 50% of the population of India is below the age of 25, and more than 65% is below the age of 35. Our median age is only 28. India is therefore a young nation, governed, however, by the not so young. In fact, I think having had some stint in diplomacy, I can't use the word It's not young anymore. But the truth is, we need you all the more to transform our nation with your skills and expertise. India holds the unenviable world record for the largest gap between the average age of the population and the average age of families. We need more educated young people as our vital bulwarks against complete chaos in society right now, against the eclipsing of a rational and scientific temper by bigotry and narrow-mindedness. Young people and their ideas will be the foundation of tomorrow's India. Look at the world around you. From a time when many celebrated communication and the digital revolution to the cultural aspects of de-globalization. Over the past few years, isolationism and protectionism have gathered pace like never before, including in the evidence is all around us. For many, the pandemic confirmed that in times of crisis, people rely on their governments to shield them. The global supply chains are vulnerable to disruption and are therefore unsustainable, and that dependence on foreign countries for essential goods could be fatal. COVID also convinced several governments around the world that stricter border and immigration controls are essential and that national interests should trump international cooperation. This, to my mind, is wrong because history teaches us that sometimes history can teach us the wrong lesson. But the answer that some people argue is in strong government, in putting the nation's needs over individual citizens' freedoms, and in discarding democratic formalities like federalism and parliamentary oversight in favour of what the government deems to be in the national interest. This, as we all know, is wrong, and it is part of the responsibility of educated people to resist this kind of wrong lesson. But even as our society and maybe even our world becomes more insular, stratified and hostile, there arises a unique opportunity for young students such as yourselves to rise to the occasion and address the acute leadership deficiency that we are currently facing. The new world order that we aspire to usher in will need a talented set of leaders to unite us. Individuals who, though rooted in their immediate localities, are capable of displaying the necessary beyond the expediency of the parochial. Young people come together. We desperately need leaders selfless enough to think beyond their personal interests. Individuals who will work vigorously to identify the complex challenges faced by our society and will, having done so, produce innovative ways to meet these challenges. At the same time, new leaders will have to strive to uplift those who have for so long lived on the margins of our national consciousness. There is no excuse for us to have 76 years after independence, countless people who still lead marginalized lives, mired as they are in immemorial discrimination and deprivation. These are afflictions that you, as the leaders and changemakers of tomorrow, must endeavor to cure in their lives. What are the qualities that leaders of tomorrow must possess? What values should you need to embody to assume this crucial responsibility? Well, first, of course, you must be possessed of a capacity for innovation. This must be followed by a brand of leadership for any particular community. Security, freedom from terror and attack, to a broader vision of human security, freedom from hunger and helplessness, of a world and education and more. This is a world in which all of us are involved. Officials, but also engines. I can only ask you to rely on the values that your parents and this institution have so assiduously imparted to you. That said, politics who want to tamper with the ground and securing the destiny of India, civilization and all its history itself. Some of you may say, oh, it's easy for those on the days. Never be afraid of failure. Experiment and you will succeed. Success is sweet. Success is sweet.